Yo, how's everyone doing? Welcome back for some more Forza Horizon 3. Today I'm sharing with you the twin mill from the Hot Wheels expansion, and what a beast. I mean, 1400 horsepower and torque. Bone stock. The thing weighs almost 5,000 pounds. I mean, this thing is just a monster, and if you look at the statistics, it would not look like a car from the top of the S1 class, but it is a very fast car, and it is truly a beast. But the thing is, it is only in the S1 class because there are some limitations to this thing, but it looks sick. I mean, you see the motors there, and also the interior of this thing is actually designed very nicely. The seats are really cool, and overall, I do like the look of this thing. It's a really cool car, and certainly not something you see every day, but in terms of performance, the acceleration and the top speed on this thing is really extremely very good for where it's at the top of the S1 class, but the problem is the handling characteristics aren't quite as good as you're going to want them to be for a car with this much power. The grip is certainly something that is kinda not the greatest. I mean, it's not completely atrocious, and the car is controllable, but the launch is very slow because you get a ton of wheel spin, and you definitely need to have a little bit of throttle control and tap the gas when you're launching the car. And then when you shift, second gear's still a little bit slippery, and then third gear, you start to get a lot better. But when you're going around turns, I mean, that's another thing. The braking isn't all that great in this car, and then on top of that, it's very hard to maintain grip going around the turns, so the handling is kinda not the greatest, and the braking is really not that good either. Now, in terms of just turning when you do have grip, it's okay, but still, I mean, this thing is just so heavy that it really doesn't turn that well either. So I had a ton of fun driving this thing, and cruising around it's a lot of fun as well, but when you try to race it, it is quite challenging. Now, it's very fast, so going around the loop-the-loops is very easy to do because you really don't lose too much speed because of all the power that this thing makes, but just the handling characteristics really limit the potential of this car. But the good thing is, when it comes to upgrades, there is no more power that you can add to this car. It's all handling and all weight reduction, so you can do a race weight reduction, you can put way thicker tires, especially on the rear tires, and all those things are definitely going to help this thing grip a lot better, turn a lot better, and will probably feel a lot better. But it will also automatically put this car in the S2 class since it's at the top of the S1 class the way it is. So that's kind of why I don't really want to change it, because obviously there's S1 races and this thing is perfectly at the top of the S1 class. So it just takes some time to get used to this car because the braking is not amazing, and that's due to how heavy this thing is. I mean, it's almost 5,000 pounds. This thing is very heavy, and all that power being rear-wheel drive, I mean, the braking just really isn't that great. You see, I messed up a few times braking a little bit too late because there's other cars that I've driven that I don't need to brake that early to make a turn, but the handling is okay around most turns. It's just really sharp turns this thing will not handle very well, but overall it's fun to drive. But it certainly is a car that you really got to know what you're doing with to have a lot of success with. But I highly recommend upgrading this thing, putting it in the S2 class, and probably using it for S2 races, because obviously you can use pretty much anything to do the S1 races, and this car, I don't really think it's your best option to win a lot of races, but it certainly does sound mean as hell, and the gearing feels pretty good as well. I mean, a few of the gears feel a little bit short for the car's speed, but it's really not bad at all. That really didn't give me any issues. It's mainly just the grip, and you can see here though it turns pretty well generally, but some of the sharper turns, if you're going too fast, I mean, this thing will just not turn like some other cars do. But let me know what you think about this twin mill. This was a very close race, so I hope you enjoyed the rest of the race. But as always, thank you very much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll talk to you all again very soon. Peace out.